Greetings, fellow book lovers, and welcome back to Colin's Corner. Today, we will be doing a video talking about 5 books that got me back into reading fiction as an adult. But first, we have to go over the answer for the last Comedy with Colin segment where I asked you guys the joke, what do you call an alligator in a vest? The answer? An investigator. Alrighty, so now I mainly read fantasy and I'm beginning to kind of explore sci-fi and horror, dig a little bit deeper into those subgenres, but that isn't where I started. And there are other books that simply got me interested in reading fiction again as an adult. These books kind of helped to jumpstart my journey into leading me ultimately into the speculative fiction that I'm reading today. It was a journey. It still is. It will always be a journey, and I love trying new things. But, you know, in the beginning, I was just really searching for books that could get me hooked on reading again, because reading, as if you're watching this video, you probably know, is a large time investment. And for somebody like myself that had not been reading consistently for about 15 years of my life for enjoyment, it seemed like such a tall task for me to just break open a 700-page just tome of a book. So these books that I'm going to list today, they aren't the first 5 books that I read to get back into my reading journey, but they are books that I read early on that kind of just helped me to get back in the groove of things. They are a little bit of a variety of books. I tried to keep these shorter so as to not feel very overwhelming. So without any more rambling, let's just get on with the list. Coming in at number 1, we have Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I'm not sure which is the correct pronunciation, but here we go. What is this one about? Fresh from a brief stay at a psych hospital, reporter Camille Preaker faces a troublesome assignment. She must return to her tiny hometown to cover the murders of 2 preteen girls. For years, Camille has hardly spoken to her neurotic, hypochondriac mother, or to the half-sister she barely knows, a beautiful 13-year-old with an eerie grip on the town. Now, installed in her old bedroom in her family's Victorian mansion, Camille finds herself identifying with the young victims a bit too strongly. Dogged by her own demons, she must unravel the psychological puzzle of her own past if she wants to get the story and survive this homecoming. This was a really fun book that had a great small town feel to it. This was also a really quick read. This one is, let's see, this one clocks in at 254 pages, guys. Also, there's a really good show that my wife and I watched for this. So if you want to read this and then go watch the show and see what the show did with the book, that's also really cool. So yep, number 1 is Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. All right, for book number 2, we have The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. So what is this one about? Let's see. Between life and death, there is a library. Up until now, Nora Seed's life has been full of misery and regret. She feels she has let everyone down, including herself. But things are about to change. When she finds herself in the Midnight Library, she has a chance to make things right. The books in the Midnight Library enable Nora to live as if she had done things differently. Each one contains a different life, a possible world in which she made different choices that played out in an infinite number of ways, affecting everyone she knew as well as many people she never met. With the help of an old friend, she can now undo every decision she regrets as she tries to work out her perfect life. But things aren't always what she imagined they'd be, and soon her choices place the library and herself in extreme danger. Before time runs out, she must answer the ultimate question: what is the best way to live? This one was a little bit more on the bleak side, which I'm totally okay with. I enjoy reading books like that, not all the time, but a lot of the time, kind of on the darker side of things. But I don't think that I'm alone in the sentiment that I enjoy exploring the possibility of alternate realities parallel universes, things of that nature. This book explores that in a really unique way. This book was super popular on BookTube when I was first kind of getting back into reading, so I picked it up. It's also a short read. Let's see, this one is 288 pages, so really not bad. Beautiful little hardcover. This one was a fun read. All right, book number 3, The Invisible Life of Addie, LaRue. What's this one about? This is a quick one. France, 1714. In a moment of desperation, a young woman makes a Faustian bargain to live forever and is cursed to be forgotten by everyone she meets. Thus begins the extraordinary life of Addie LaRue, and a dazzling adventure that will play out across centuries and continents, across history and art, as a young woman learns how far she will go to leave her mark on the world. But everything changes when, after nearly 300 years, Addie stumbles across a young man in a hidden bookstore, and he remembers her name. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Guys, this was also another one that was super popular when I first joined BookTube. I remember reading this one on vacation a couple of years ago, and this book was really different from what I'd read. It's, I guess it would be considered kind of historical fiction. There are real places that this book takes place in. This is one of the few books that I have successfully gotten my wife to actually read in my reading journey, and she flew through it. She may not want me to reveal this information, but in the moment she was reading this book, I kind of thought she might be a real reader, because I found her hiding in the bathroom one day just to read this book without being bothered, and I resonated so much with that. So this one is a little bit on the longer side. Let me see. This one is, I think it's 400 some. 442. This one's 442. But guys, it didn't really feel like 442 to me. This isn't like a high-paced, ton of action kind of book, but it was, I guess slow burn would be kind of a bad sell. I don't know. I was just really invested in the story. Not so much the characters with this one, but more so the story and how the story was going to play out. So yeah, with number 3, we have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. All right, the 4th book on this list is going to be Coptown by Karen Slaughter. So I have this one. I don't have the copy of this one. I have it on my computer. So we're going to read the summary here. Okay. Atlanta, 1974. As a brutal murder and a furious manhunt rock the city's police department, Kate Murphy wonders if her first day on the job will also be her last. She's determined to defy her privileged background by making her own way, wearing a badge and carrying a gun. But for a beautiful young woman, life will be anything but easy in the macho world of the Atlanta Police Department, where even the female cops have little mercy for rookies. It's also the worst possible day to start, given that a beloved cop has been gunned down, his brothers in blue are out for blood, and the city is on the verge of war. Kate isn't the only woman on the force who's feeling the heat. Maggie Lawson followed her uncle and her brother into the ranks to prove her worth in their cynical eyes. When she and Kate, her new partner, are pushed out of the citywide search for a cop killer, their fury, pain, and pride finally reach the boiling point. With the killer poised to strike again, they will pursue their own line of investigation, risking everything as they venture into the city's darkest heart. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, guys, so my mom gave this to me. She has always belonged to a library, and she gave me the, believe it or not, CD audiobook for Coptown. And this was, I think, my first, if not one of my first experiences with audiobooks, and it was a great one. This was, at its bare bones, it was just a cop procedural. It was a detective novel, and I was super, super invested in this story. And also the characters in this book were a lot of fun to read about. They were, I would say 90% of them were pretty deplorable characters, just disgusting. But it was a really good family drama, and I guess kind of like a workplace drama because of all the cop drama that was going on in this one. But yeah, the story, the mystery, the case that they are trying to solve is really good in this one, and it kind of rallied the city together, and it just this one had me on the edge of my seat for almost the entire book. So yep, number 4 is Cop Town by Karen Slaughter. Last but not least, guys, we have The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is another one I don't have the physical copy of right now. I used to. I don't know what the heck happened to it. I must have lent it to someone. So we're going back to my computer, and I will read you the summary from there. Boom. The legend begins. Greece in the age of heroes. Patroclus, an awkward young prince, has been exiled to the kingdom of Phthia, please excuse my pronunciations, to be raised in the shadow of King Peleus and his golden son Achilles, the best of all the Greeks. Strong, beautiful, and the child of a goddess, Achilles is everything the shamed Patroclus is not. Yet despite their differences, the boys become steadfast companions. Their bond deepens as they grow into young men and become skilled in the art of war and medicine, much to the displeasure and the fury of Achilles' mother, Thetis, a cruel sea goddess with a hatred of mortals. When word comes that Helen of Sparta has been kidnapped, the men of Greece, bound by blood and oath, must lay siege to Troy in her name. Seduced by the promise of a glorious destiny, Achilles joins their cause, and torn between love and fear for his friend, Patroclus follows. Little do they know that the fates will test them both as never before and demand a terrible sacrifice. All right, that is The Song of Achilles. This was a beautifully written adaptation of Homer's Iliad, told from the perspective of Patroclus. So I thought that Madeline Miller did a really good job. It was a fun job of kind of humanizing some of these Greek legends that a lot of people are really familiar with, and this was just a great story. Not super familiar with the Iliad, so I'm sure that it is not in any way like a direct adaptation of it, but I thought that this was just a really fun book and a pretty good love story, to be honest. So beautifully written too. Really, really beautiful prose in this book by Madeline Miller. So yep, that is book number 5, The Song of Achilles. All right, guys, so that is my list of 5 books that helped me get back into reading fiction as an adult. Now, I tried to kind of incorporate some quicker paced books in here, or just some not so long books. I also tried to include a little bit of variety so that you guys can try some different things if you're up for something new, even if you're not just getting back into reading. One of these sounded interesting to you. I hope so. I hope they sounded interesting to somebody. I think that trying different genres like this, trying a variety, is really, like I said earlier in the video, is kind of what helped me to hone in on and find my niche, find the stuff that I really enjoyed reading. So hopefully this is able to do that for somebody out there, or just provide a fun suggestion for one of you guys to try. Now it is time for Comedy with Colin. Today, guys, we have a special joke. So Dan over at the Blue Collar Reader, randomly out of the blue, messaged me on Twitter one day with a joke. Guys, he's a smart man. He knows that I'm just a man of culture and I love a good pun. So Dan's joke that he asked me, and it got me thinking, was, what is Little John's favorite type of bird? If you think you know the answer, please drop it down in the comments below. Little did I know when I got the punchline for this, this is a Dan original. Dan came up with this joke and it's pretty stinking good. So guys, again, the joke is, what is Little John's favorite type of bird? If you think you know the answer, put it in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video and you think it's helpful, please give it a like. Maybe it'll get out to more people. And if you're enjoying the channel so far, please do consider subscribing. It's free and it helps me a lot. And I'm loving interacting with you guys in the comment section and on my social media platforms. So again, thank you so much for being here. I hope you are all enjoying what you're reading. And remember, you're always welcome in Colin's Corner.